Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think it's bad. I think in the proposal you'll be pleasant. A lot of it is what Steve Perone wanted. I think he'll get what he wants finally now that we understand what he wanted to see. But there's some good opportunities, but these are all going to be strategic partnerships that are going to help us differentiate the product, and enable us to have a much more national footprint. But there's some things that we just need to do the blocking and tackling on the basic end of the house, but it can't just all be you, and it's not going to fall on necessarily vendor. We need to just put in these processes. We need to invest some money in these IT systems, and we have to rein in sales. And we have to link sales to projects, and we have to link projects and proposal center together, and we have to lock down that inventory. That I am scared to death that those idiots in the service centers are robbing us blind somehow. That sounds horrible, Gina, but nobody shears you. That's the problem. Because Mike and those guys taught them that I'm not saying you should be a scary guy, but I'm saying there has to be a certain amount of fear. Yeah, lose.
Smoke generator started.
Um,
I need intelligence data.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, but the other thing is but the other part of that is it gets things ready, right? So the other thing we can do is we can have a cross-functional team. We can get ready to move the cloud. I talked to AWS and Microsoft. Both of them are programs that will underwrite some of the move to the cloud. Like we could get hundreds of thousands of dollars from both companies, Gina. But it gets Brad involved. It gets that next level of leadership involved, and it gets everybody thinking about doing it the right way, so that when you retire, you know that your money's in the right hands. I think this is really about creating opportunity for and giving a voice to people that got stomped on by Mike also. Because those are the people that are going to have to enforce the control systems. Because it doesn't do us any good. You and I know what to do, right? You could do it blindfolded, but in 10 years, that'll all be unmade if we don't put in the right people to enforce those processes. And you got some really great people there. They just have gotten crushed for so long.
Torpedoes to starboard.
It's just shocking how hard that is for people to get past, and I feel bad. Yeah. The Dalai Lama of LMR. That's great, Gina. You got Dalai Lama and Bob Stork in the same sentence. Okay. The Dalai Lama of LMR. Okay, that's a good one. I gotta remember that. Jin's Dalai Lama.
Enemy battleship sunk.
Well, I mean, we need to start that plan. Get Brad. Yeah, get that all.
Torpedoes, dead ahead.
Yeah, so I can help you out with that, Gina. I also have a really good relationship with both Microsoft and AWS. There are two programs that are not advertised, where those two companies, for the right partner, will defray 50 cents on the dollar and will pay for a lot of the migration, up to 3 million.
Set a smoke screen. Set a smoke screen.
Yep. Well, I think the difference being is that you can get
Much obliged.
AWS and Microsoft to give you money in the right program, and I can show you how to get that money. Because that's what I got before, up to $3 million.
Focus on fire.
And they'll even pay for custom development. Not that you want to necessarily do it, but that can buy you a lot of things. But when I say custom development, I think I'm saying like if there are edge case things, like there's some LMR things, or we need an API to plug into Harris's inventory control system. That's what I meant. I don't mean us building a custom solution, but integrations into things that we don't have. The other thing is, I think you should be really you should have brand. You should have a different. You should there's a. It's not going to just be one solution. You should have a bunch of people that you have that are going to own different parts, because the proposal center from AWS that does plug into Microsoft Dynamics is pretty good. You don't have to buy for. I mean, the big thing about the cloud is you don't have to, just because you move to Dynamics doesn't mean you have to have everything in AWS or Microsoft. You've got choices, and you can figure out what you want pretty quickly. I mean, I think there's a lot of things you could do, but I think one of the things is there are a lot of sales management programs that are out there right now, especially with AWS. And I have a good relationship with AWS, where I think it's the easiest to get the money from AWS because they'll just give it to me. Uh, yeah, yeah.
Attention. Reporting a target position.
Well, this is just, I mean, why don't you tell Brad to send me an email tomorrow, and he and I can work out something informally, and we can start looking at different options. But there are two different programs out there that aren't advertised, and they give you co-op dollars to migrate to the cloud. And the big thing is they want to have a good, sexy story to tell people, and being able to migrate somebody like CI would be a good one for them, especially if you tied it to indoor wireless. You could even get them to pay for. I mean, they could get you into a show or something like that also. So I mean, AWS has the showcase where they showcase a technology partner, and that would do something to put us on the map. I think that would be a good one to do. But I think the other cool thing is like they'll treat Brad real well, and Brad will get to see all kinds of things that are really useful and interesting things. Like there's a automated inventory control system that they built for
Recon
AWS that
securing
does
targets.
a robotic inventory for small parts. And it's being used right now with another LMR in Utah. So all robots doing inventory in the warehouse. Oh no, no. But let Brad know, and he and I can meet up, and I'll start talking about that. But there are the two programs that I'm thinking about are run by both AWS, and the relationship is with the vice president, general manager in charge at AWS. And we had a really good. His name is Bill Foss. He's the number two guy at AWS, and that program is responsible for up to $3 million, and it's not a program they advertise to anybody. It's a program that they basically see as discretionary fund. We should pull out of that fund, and we could get that to migrate to the cloud, and they'll help accelerate that so that we don't have to wait for a year and a half. And it's not bad getting somebody to pay half our costs. So yeah. Plus, it'd be good to talk to Brad. So oh yeah, I mean, at the current pace with Steve and Joe, we'll be 50. We'll be another 20 years. So you'll get this report tonight. I fully expect that those guys will agonize over for the next 3 weeks. 10 more weeks before you. Is that
Our victory is in sight. Our team has taken the lead.
yeah? No, especially with Bender there. I think you hit on the head. Let's get our, let's get our ass in gear. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk. I mean, have Brad send me an email and I'll copy on the correspondence. Let's talk. I mean, the things to think about it are there's a number of programs that are not advertised that will pay you 50 cents on the dollar to migrate to the cloud. Why not just take the money? Because they're going to give it to somebody and there are no strings attached to it. Well, go have some wine, Gina. All right. Have, So here's the beauty of this, Gina. You can spend that money, you can get that money this year. So what you have to do is, like, for example, I think the minimum was 250. You don't have to, you're gonna have to spend the money. The services don't have to be completed. And then next year, you can apply for another 250, which they give you 50 cents of the dollar. And then they'll just give you money to continually operate on the cloud for free. So you can get that credit every quarter up to 6 quarters. You know, and so you just collect those quarters, you collect those credits. So you can get it before you even start the migration.